What would you do if your only means of making a living was taken from you? And what if you were deemed a criminal for doing what it takes to survive? Bicycle Thieves is an Italian language film directed by Vittorio De Sica and is based on a novel of the same name by Luigi Bartoloni. Often considered by critics as the epitome of Italian neorealist cinema, Bicycle Thieves follows the story of Antonio Ricci, a poor man who found himself in the clutches of post-World War II Rome. Shot completely on location, Bicycle Thieves highlights the harsh realities of poverty and deprivation amidst the working class in post-war Europe. The plot is relatively simple. Antonio, who has been unemployed for a long time since the war, finally manages to secure a job hanging posters across the city. On his first day of work, Antonio's bicycle gets stolen, and hence ensues his desperate journey for its retrieval. He goes around the city with his son and encounters several struggles and obstacles. Yet, this is a tale that tells the life of many, a tale of exploitation and a tale of injustice. This is perhaps the most pivotal moment in the film, where Antonio's small hope at new beginnings all come crashing down with a single unfortunate incident. On his first day at work, Antonio's bicycle gets stolen. Here ensues his journey in retrieving his bicycle, which, spoiler alert, he fails to do so. Antonio is assigned to hang a poster of Hollywood actress Rita Hayworth, a strong metaphor for the juxtaposition of these two people's lives. It is a representation of how the glitz and glamour that the Hollywood industry portrays is merely an illusion, while the common people drown in poverty and desperation. A well-dressed man who seems to be affluent walks by two children who beg for money on the streets, and he pays no heed. This shot thus amplifies the irony of the situation. Long static shots and the absence of dynamicity in camera movements give us the impression that we are onlookers of the incident rather than an active participant. We are watching the situation unfold in front of our eyes with no means of helping Antonio. Our frustration is further enhanced by the onlookers on screen who pay no heed to the event taking place as they are busy with their own lives. This could potentially be a commentary on what most people would actually do if they were onlookers of the incident and not swayed by the cinematic elements that evoke emotions within the audience. The character played by the thief seems like a teenage boy and is dressed poorly, indicating that he might be a member of the lower socioeconomic classes himself. Here, we see how the common people are pitted against each other for their mere survival, while the rich suffer no consequences. The final scene portrays our character Antonio at crossroads. Following his desperate attempts to retrieve his bicycle along with his son, he finally falls back at one last hope, stealing a bicycle himself. Seeing that the world had let him down, he decides to take justice in his own hands. After a brief moment of contemplation, he asks his son Bruno to take the next trolley and meet back with him at a later stop. He then turns around the corner to find his bicycle kept isolated. The bicycle is also framed as though it is the only other object aside from Antonio, sunlight reflecting off of its metal handles, giving it this sense of awe, almost as if it was daunting Antonio. This moment is long, with no movement in the camera and no change in shot. It is drawn out, putting us both in the shoes of Antonio, whose sense of time is distorted by the decision he has to make and the paranoia in doing so, as well as that of the onlooker, who stands in a corner watching the incident unfold. He grabs the bicycle and quickly speeds off, only to be followed by the owner and a mob of locals that were helping him. Eventually, he is caught, while Bruno, who missed his trolley, watches helplessly as his father gets berated by the mob for a crime he committed for the sake of his family. The camera zooms into Bruno, who runs into the crowd, desperately attempting to break his father free. The shot is claustrophobic, encapsulating both Bruno's physical space amongst a crowd of adults and his mind, as his childlike innocence and devotion to his father lies juxtaposed to the tall, almost looming strangers who are hurting the man he loves the most. The bicycle's owner, witnessing Bruno's distressed state at the thought of losing his father, shows them mercy and lets the incident go. The film ends with Antonio and Bruno walking back, both shocked at the events that had unfolded. Antonio, who failed to fulfill his duties as both a man and a father and provide for his family, feels almost emasculated and is overwhelmed by shame and despair. Meanwhile, Bruno's innocence slowly seeps away as he witnesses his father risk jail time simply to keep his job and earn for the family. He is introduced to the harsh realities of the world that he is about to enter into. Aside from the unequal systems that working class people find themselves to bear the brunt of, Bicycle Thieves addresses the universal perception of crime as being unquestionably evil. We fail to recognize the systemic factors that make the definition of what constitutes crime as being favorable to a set class of people and to others a means of active oppression. It thus asks the audience an important question. Can an act of crime really be considered as such when it comes from a place of utter desperation, when it is a matter of life and death? Is our perception of crime distorted by the people who benefit from them?